In Indonesia, the crucial first step in reporting domestic abuse often happens in secret, right on a smartphone screen. This no viral, no justice strategy turns a private crime into a public demand. By broadcasting the abuse, victims bypass a slow bureaucracy and use mass public validation to force the police into immediate action. These public outcries are supported by the 2021 National Women's Life Experience Survey. The data shows a persistent reality. 1 in 4 women in Indonesia experience violence in their lifetime. When institutions see these statistics year after year, they begin to treat vulnerability as an inherent trait of a gender, rather than a result of a specific conflict. This creates a societal reflex, where the label of victim is automatically and permanently applied to women, regardless of their individual agency. This reflex forms the basis of the state's protective measures, a foundation that, by design, often trades a woman's independence for her safety. This type of protection is built on a psychological concept known as benevolent sexism. While hostile sexism is open aggression, this version presents itself as chivalry. It views women as pure, delicate beings who essentially require a male guardian to navigate the world safely. It operates through micro-restrictions, limiting a woman's travel, career choices, or social circle for her own good, effectively trades her autonomy for a promise of security. These norms create an inferential prison. Long before a conflict occurs, the woman is already cast as the incapable subordinate, making her survival dependent on the person who has the most power in the house. The 2004 domestic violence law moved abuse from a private family matter into the public criminal courts for the first time. However, this modern law sits alongside the 1974 marriage law, which operates on completely different assumptions about power. Article 31 explicitly names the husband as household head and the wife as homemaker, building a hierarchy that assumes female dependence. This legal structure is a remnant of Ibuisme Negara, a state ideology from the New Order era that prioritized order and hierarchy. Under this doctrine, a woman's identity was tied to her husband's rank. Her social standing was defined as an extension of his authority, erasing her status as an autonomous citizen. The laws meant to shield women today were written on top of a system that was originally designed to keep them legally and socially subordinate. Media coverage frequently focuses on women's bodies as passive evidence of a crime. Headlines often focus on a woman's behavior, while cameras linger on her injuries, using her physical suffering as a commodity to drive engagement. This rigid focus on the fragile female makes it nearly impossible for the justice system to recognize male victims of domestic abuse. A man reporting violence faces immediate skepticism from law enforcement. Because he doesn't fit the cultural image of a victim, his trauma is often dismissed or ignored entirely. The gender label has become more important than the abuse. If the victim doesn't match the expected narrative, the system often fails to see the crime. This conflict between protection and power is now manifesting in the legal system's shift toward restorative justice for domestic cases. The goal is to settle disputes through mediation, avoiding prison time to keep the family unit intact and preserve domestic harmony. Because society views women as the primary keepers of that harmony, the pressure to forgive an abuser and drop charges falls almost entirely on them. The state prioritizes the survival of the institution over the individual. This frequently sends a victim back into a home where the power imbalance that caused the violence remains exactly as it was. Creating actual safety requires a shift away from protection based on pity toward a system built on equal human rights. Domestic security is impossible as long as the law views one party as naturally weaker. We must dismantle these gender labels to build a society where protection is a right, not a form of control.